Hello everyone, and welcome back to tomorrow's weather today. Today I have another tropical update for you in the Atlantic, in this historic Atlantic hurricane season where we have our 31st storm of the season, which is likely to become Tropical Storm Iota later today or tomorrow, which is located in the Caribbean. Expected to head west into either Central America or the Yucatan Peninsula. Should also mention we had Eta, the remnants of Eta's up here. It was where 31 was. Traveled into Honduras as a Category 4 hurricane, and then did a track like this over Cuba through the Keys, came downwards, did a loop through Florida, and now is over there. We have Tropical Storm Theta over here too. Quickly, we will go to Theta, which is expected to weaken over the next few days, and by Sunday become a remnant tropical depression. Um, Not really, maybe affecting a few islands, but nothing too severe. But looking at Tropical Depression 31, the NHC has a forecast to become a Category 2 hurricane Monday morning with winds of 110 miles per hour. I would not be surprised if did get higher than 110. Expected to move into Nicaragua and Honduras sometime Monday. It could also scoot up to the north of Central America and go into Belize. This is yet to be seen. Looking at current storm info, a lot of the models are bringing this up to a Cat 3 storm. Definitely a hurricane. Um, Going over to the visible satellite imagery, we could see definitely some rotation in here. I believe this is a mid-level center and not a surface center, and I will show you why I believe that in a second. But we can see the northerly winds here, the westerly winds down here. We definitely have easterly winds there and northerly winds here, so we do have a closed center of circulation. But going over to this website, earth.noschool.net, we can see our wind particles and surface pressure. We can see this is at the surface with pressure of 1007. This was earlier today, I believe, at 13Z. But going up to 500 millibars, we can see, at least of this morning, that we had our surface center right where that green circle is. And then that our 500 millibar center is off to the east. So it is displaced a little bit, and going down to 700 millibars, it's still displaced. And let's see if we can load up satellite or the water vapor imagery really quickly. Hopefully this loads quickly. It's almost loaded. So you can see that outflow expanding to the north, not looking like a lot of dry air ahead of it. This is a very favorable environment. I am not seeing any shear. If I'm looking at this correctly, I do not see any shear, which is healthy for this to develop. And another reason why I believe this was off-centered. If you would take a look at the GFS model with relative humidity between 700 and 400 millibars, black contours, the surface pressure, and the wind barbs are at this layer in the mid-levels. We can see where our surface low is. We can see this closed isobar right here, and where the red L is right there, indicative of the surface low. But if we take a look, we can see the wind barbs right over here closing a center in the mid-level. So it is displaced a little bit, but this does look to become better and more aligned by tomorrow, maybe even later tonight, and definitely looking pretty good by Monday. And the GFS has this skirting off to the north of Honduras and Nicaragua, but making a dive southward. And I'm pretty sure that's because of this. There's a cold front right in here, with X Eta being up there. So let's go to 500 millibar vorticity. look at the steering pattern. If we take a look, we have a strong high pressure system right here, right in there, which is wanting to bring this into Central America. But that ridge does move off to the east, allowing the flow to become more west to west-southwest in the mid-levels, which would drive it more northerly track. And then this ridge starts to set up over the Gulf, which is what is causing it to make that dive southward into Central America and then die off. And I did not notice this earlier, but the GFS is bringing in another storm, which we're not going to talk about because this isn't a legitimate threat yet. But it's something I will keep my eye on. Looking at the low level, let's go to 850. Looking at the low level vorticity, you can see our steering here. You can see this ridge over this southern United States, over Texas and Louisiana, which is going to help drive the storm into Central America. If I take an area sounding over the storm at this very point in time, you can see that in the wind barbs right there. Very light shear. And if we go to the 200 millibar level, we can see a very favorable setup. Right now, here's our storm. Very light winds aloft. If we move this ahead again, very favorable with an upper level high pressure system above. What this does is it lets the storm breathe. So if we have a surface low, let's say this is the ground right here, and then we go up to 200 millibars. So there's air is converging around a low pressure system. So what do I mean by that? Winds are rotating counterclockwise and into the center of the into the system, into the low pressure system. What does that do? That brings air into. I did not mean to delete all that. What does that do? That brings air into the low pressure system, which would inherently raise the pressure. So what needs to happen in order for this pressure to drop? There needs to be an upper level high pressure system. And with a high pressure system, air rotates clockwise and divergently away from the system, which gets rid of the air in the atmosphere. So what does that do? That lowers the pressure because this air needs to rise. So when there's a high pressure system above a low pressure system in the atmosphere, these winds are coming in to the system like this. And up here, they diverge, allowing this air to rise and fill that and lower the surface pressures. So that's essentially what's happening here. And it looks pretty favorable for that to happen. And we don't want another storm hitting this area, which has already been devastated by Eta, going back to last week. Looking at the European, we're going to go to 500 millibar, the 850 millibar of vort and wind, which we are at. We can see our system right here, Tropical Depression 31, and this brings a more southerly track as this ridge is already built in, and this is making landfall sometime Monday into Nicaragua and Honduras. Because of this northwesterly flow, or northeasterly flow, excuse me, not allowing this to escape up to the north. Now I want to go over to a hurricane model. Let's go to the HWRF 31. I just want to take a look at what this has going for it. So we can see our low pressure system here, but our mid-level low off to the southeast. Becomes better organized with the stack system here, with a deepening low pressure system and scoot into the 940s, going into the Yucatan Peninsula after it scoots to the north of Nicaragua and Honduras. Let's see. Then it makes landfall. This is too far out. This is 5 days out. It's just interesting to see what this has. And let's see with the winds how strong this brings it up to. I saw 103, 106, 111 knots. This is definitely a major hurricane at this point. It makes landfall as a hurricane. Looking at satellite, it's nothing to take into. It's not something to take literally, as this is just one model and it's 5 days out at that time. But going back to now, so all in all, I believe this has definitely the potential to strengthen and either impact Honduras, Nicaragua, or even Belize or the Yucatan Peninsula of Mexico as a major hurricane. I definitely see this getting up to Cat 2 like the NHC, but I could also see this making landfall as a Cat 3, Cat 4, unfortunately. I will try to make an update tomorrow, and if I don't, I apologize. College is I'm very busy here with work. But that is it for today's video. Thank you all for watching. Please make sure to like and subscribe and turn on those post notifications so you never miss a new video, and I will see you all soon.